Namashreshtam Manamapi Sachiputramattra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Prajam Ruparim Maturim Hostavadam Radhakundam Girivaram Ho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratitha Kripaya Shri Gurun Tam Natosmi Continuing to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, entitled The Residents of Varanasi Become Vaishnavas. In this part of this chapter, Mahaprabhu is introducing Prakashananda Saraswati to the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered the natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra being what the Mayavadi sannyasi scholars follow. They discuss it, they interpret it according to Shankara's conception, which is impersonal. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra, and it's personal, theistic, establishing the relationship of the Jiva soul with Bhagavan and establishing the Krishna conception. So Mahaprabhu is introducing this to Prakashananda Saraswati. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So the last verse from yesterday, Sarva Vedanta Sharam Hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasamrita Triptasya Nanyatra Syadrati Kvachit. Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted as the essence of all Vedic literature and Vedanta philosophy. Whoever tastes the transcendental mallow of Srimad Bhagavatam is never attracted to any other literature. Gayatrira Arte E Granta Arambana Satyam Param Sambandha Dimahi Sadhana Prayojana. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is an explanation of the Brahma Gayatri mantra. The absolute truth, Satyam Param, indicates the relationship, and if we meditate Dimahi on him, indicates the execution of devotional service and the ultimate goal of life. Janmad yasya yato nvayad itaratas shatish vabhigya svarat tene brahma hridayadi kavaye mushyantiyat suraya tejo varimridam yata vinimayo yatratri sargo mrisha damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dimahi. I offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, who is the supreme, all-pervading personality of Godhead. I meditate upon him, the transcendent reality, who is the primeval cause of all causes, in whom all manifest universes arise, in whom they dwell, and by whom they are destroyed. I meditate upon that eternally effulgent Lord, who is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and yet is beyond them. It is he only who first imparted Vedic knowledge under the heart of Brahma, the first created being. Through him, this world, like a mirage, appears real, even to great sages and demigods. Because of him, the material universes created by the three modes of nature appear to be factual, although they are unreal. I meditate, therefore, upon him, the absolute truth, who is eternally existent in his transcendental abode, and who is forever free of illusion. It's the very beginning verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharmaha prajihita kaitavo tra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kim va parayat ishvaraha sadyo hridya varudyate Tra kritibi surus. Shushrush subish tat kshanat. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavat Purana propounds the highest truth which is understandable by those devotees who are pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Sri Vyasadeva, is sufficient in itself for God realization. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, he becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. It's a famous verse. Those are the first two verses of the Bhagavatam. It's a famous verse. Often quoted, the part of it often quoted, Nirmat Saranam Satam. Nirmat Sara. What does it mean? Nirmat Sara.
I think we were going to talk about that verse. this actually?
Nirmatsara. Matsarya means envy. Matsarya. So nirmatsarya means no envy, absence of envy. So it's often quoted as a verse that is describing the criterion, the eligibility for properly reading the Bhagavatam is that first a person must have a relative purity of heart, and the vice particularly identified as required to be absent is, or what the one is required to be free from is envy, matsarya. But the general idea is that there's a certain purity of heart required to appreciate the concepts described in the scriptures. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Swarupa Shri Bhagavat Tate Veda Shastra Haite Parama Mahatva. Srimad Bhagavatam gives direct information of the mallow derived from service to Krishna, which is Bhakti Rasa.
What section are you on? She's looking on her Spanish before.
Madhya Lila chapter 25.
Text?
Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is above all other Vedic literatures.
What number of the verses?
We are now on text 150. And now text 151. Jai Gurudev, Hare Krishna. Nigama kalpaturo galitam phalam shukamukad amrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bavukaha. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic literatures. It has been considered the ripened fruit of the wish-fulfilling tree of Vedic knowledge. It has been sweetened by emanating from the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami. You who are thoughtful and who relish mallows should always try to taste this ripened fruit. O thoughtful devotees, as long as you are not absorbed in transcendental bliss, you should continue tasting this Srimad Bhagavatam. And when you are fully absorbed in bliss, you should go on tasting its mallows forever. Meaning that Bhagavatam is both the process for achievement, and once achievement has been reached, it never becomes redundant. Like the verse, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Prema Janma Tenho Puna Mukhya Anga. There's a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sanatan Shiksha, actually, which we've just finished. One of the earlier chapters. Mahaprabhu is describing Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula. So the root of Krishna Bhakti is Sadhu Sangha, association with the saints, devotees. That's the root. Root meaning the foundation of Krishna Bhakti. And Krishna Bhakti Krishna Prema Janma Tenho Puna Mukhya Anga. Krishna Prema is the pinnacle achievement. Mukhya Anga means the chief facet. So even once Krishna Prema is achieved, the chief facet or the chief limb is still Sadhu Sangha. So Sadhu Sangha permeates the bhakti phenomenon from beginning to end. It's never made redundant. Like this verse says, the Bhagavatam is there from at the beginning, even if you have not, if you are not absorbed in transcendental bliss, you should continue tasting this Bhagavatam. And when you do have that bliss, go on tasting it. So it never reaches a point of obsolescence. Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yashrin vatam rasagyanam svadu pade pade We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is forever, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who enjoy association with him relish hearing his pastimes at every moment. Ataiva Bhagavata Karaha Vichara Iha Haite Pabe Sutra Sutrera Arthasara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised Prakashananda Saraswati, study Srimad Bhagavatam very scrutinizingly, then you will understand the actual meaning of Brahma Sutra. Nirantara Kara Krishna Nam Sankirtan Helaya Mukti Pabe Pabe Premadan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, always discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and constantly chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. In this way, you will be able to attain liberation very easily, and you will be elevated to the enjoyment of love of Godhead. There's a short purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that without studying Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot understand the purport of Brahma Sutra or the Upanishads. If one tries to understand Vedanta philosophy and the Upanishads without studying Srimad Bhagavatam, he will be bewildered and, construing a different meaning, will gradually become an atheist or an impersonalist. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He was equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Muktapi lilaya vigraham kritva bhagavantam bhajante. Even liberated soul, merged in impersonal Brahman effulgence, Jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even a liberated soul merged in the impersonal effulgence is attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. He thus installs a deity and renders the Lord's service. It's an important concept. So, and the verse Atmaramas Chimunayo Nigrantapurukrame, most quoted in Madhya Lila, is explaining the same concept. That even liberated soul who's experiencing the bliss of Brahman, transcendental to Maya, still they are further attracted, even though they feel they've reached a state of perfection where there's nothing more to be gained. Once they are exposed to come into contact with the Krishna or the paraphernalia of Krishna, then a new vista opens up. And that once again they feel attracted, they feel there's something to be gained. So this is Shankaracharya stating this. Mahaprabhu is quoting it to Prakashanand, who is a disciple of Shankaracharya. Not a direct disciple, but a follower. Even a liberated soul merged in the impersonal Brahman effulgence is attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. So it's the same concept. And it's a quotation from Shankaracharya's commentary, Nisrimhatapani. So even we have the main guru, teacher, acharya of the Mayavad school, as it's known mainly today, Shankara. He is in places directing people to Krishna, including in his famous Moha Mudgara Stotra. Moha Mudgara Stotra means a Mudgara is a hammer. Moha means illusion. Moha Mudgara Stotra. A stotra is a collection of verses, a hymn. So the hymn that smashes illusion, Moha Mudgara Stotra. It's a famous one by Shankaracharya. And in that, even there's verses, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda. I don't know the verse off by heart, but he's saying, worship Govinda in his verse. So even though his professed conclusion is impersonal in places, you will find him confiding that the worship of Krishna is still at least featured in his teachings, if not secretly presented as being a supreme objective. Parinishtito pinarigunye utama shloka lilaya grihita cheta rajarshe akyanam yad adhitavan. Sukadeva Goswami addressed Parikshit Maharaj, "My dear king, although I was fully situated in the transcendental position, I was nonetheless attracted to the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Therefore, I studied Srimad Bhagavatam from my father." Tasya ravinda nayanasya padaravinda kinjalka mishra tulasi makaranda vayu antaragata svavivarena chakaratesham sankshobham aksharajusam apijita tanvo. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-side personality of Godhead entered through the nostrils into the hearts of those sages, they experienced a change in both body and mind, even though they're attracted to the impersonal Brahman understanding. So this is all the same theme, these last three verses. And if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, we'll come to the point where again there is a request to explain the Atmaram verse for the third time. Yeah, right, here it's coming up right on the next page. Which is, of course, in line with this theme that Mahaprabhu has now touched on. He's introducing the Bhagavatam, Chatusloki, and then he's introducing the idea that the pastimes of Krishna, which are the subject matter of the Bhagavatam, are superior to any state of Brahman consciousness, impersonal Brahman consciousness, because they have the ability to attract the mind, the consciousness of those people who are situated at that level. And now we have the famous verse, Atmaramas chamunayo nigranta purukrame kurvantyo hoita kim bhaktim itam bhuta guno hari. Those who are self-satisfied, unattracted by external material desires, are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari, the personality of Godhead, is called Krishna because he has such transcendentally attractive features. Henakale se Maharashtriya Brahmana Sabate Kahila se Sloka Vivarana. At this time, the Brahmana from the province of Maharashtra mentioned Lord Chaitanya's explanation of the Atmaram verse. Eshlokera ata prabhu ekashashti prakara kariyachena yaha suni loke chamatkara. The Maharashtrian Brahmin stated that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already explained that verse in 61 ways, and everyone was astonished to hear this. Chamatkara means something wondrous, astonishing. They used it in Italy for the festival, right? Yeah. What festival was that? Was that Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi?
20th anniversary of Vila Govinda.
As an anniversary festival. Chamatkara. Was that a Chamatkara festival?
Stupa Facente.
Maha Chamatkara.
You were not there.
Is that how they translated it into Italian? Stupa Facente. What?
Stupa Facente.
Stupa Facente.
Mind-blowing. Something like this.
Wow.
Chamatkara. Astonishing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A favourite word of Madhusudana.
Chamatkara. So, everyone was, when they heard this explanation of Mahaprabhu's explanation of the Atmaram verse, they were all stupa facente. Stupa facente. Greatly astonished.
Prabhu, before you said that even the materialistic people also are attracted to Krishna, didn't you?
Yeah, everyone.
So one day I heard from Maharaj that he said that actually for the materialistic it's much easier to approach Krishna. The attraction to Krishna is more evident than for the impersonalists. I mean, for the simple and evident reason that they are materialistic and they attach to,
Yeah, well,
they can understand. I mean, they can understand and adhere to the idea of a God with materialistic, apparently materialistic features, etc. That was his explanation.
Yeah. Well, bhukti mukti spriha javat pisacha hridi vartate tavad bhakti sukasya tra katam abhyudayo bhavet. Bhukti is material enjoyment, materialism, and mukti is impersonalism. So as long as both of those are dwelling in the heart, then bhakti will not live there. So they're both obstacles. So it's simply a matter of severity of the obstacle, gradation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could say mukti impersonalism because a person feels that they've achieved spiritual accomplishment. So if you feel you've achieved spiritual accomplishment, why would you look for more?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a materialist, it's also an obstacle. Because if they're pursuing the objects of that Maya offers, Kamani Pratishta chiefly, and all the subcategories of those three main categories, then also they're going to feel that there's some kind of viable offer of happiness, satisfaction. So it's simply the idea of misconception, and how deep is the misconception. One feels that they've attained spiritual truth, and another which will provide happiness for them, and another feels that they can find happiness in material pursuits. But while both are existing, while both fantasies or ideas of happiness, misconceived ideas of happiness exist in the heart, bhakti will not live there. So they're both obstacles. But you could say, because one considers itself to be real spiritual accomplishment, that it is a more serious obstacle. So that's the point. That Krishna's beauty can quite easily penetrate with a little bit of fortune a materialist's covering. But for someone who has immersed themselves in impersonalism, that's a little more difficult. But the whole point here is that it's not impenetrable. That Krishna's beauty and the beauty of the pastimes of Krishna and those things connected with Krishna, including Krishna's devotees, Nam, Rup, Gun, Lila, Parishads, they can all further attract even one who is so-called Atmaram, which is often translated as self-satisfied. So whether a person thinks that they're satisfied with their sensual pursuits, or a person thinks that they're satisfied in their realization of the Atma Gyan, whatever the case, Krishna nonetheless, his attractive quality, being the supreme conception of Godhead, is able to, you can say, overpower any sense of self-satisfaction that either the materialist or the impersonalist might have. But generally, a sensualist, the appeal of sensualism is not as powerful as the appeal of impersonal Brahman conception. In a sense, not even in a sense, in truth, the Brahman conception is part of God. As we read the verse yesterday, didn't we? Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yajganam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabdyate. So, Vedanti tattva vidas, those who know the truth know that the Supreme has three. There are three conceptions: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. Brahman Paramatma Bhagavan. So someone on the level mentioned in these verses is at the Brahman conception. So it is God realization. There's no denying that. But it's not the highest form of God realization. And thus, a higher gradation of God realization can attract those who occupy a lower level of God realization.
Did you see by your experience, often impersonalists adhering to, switching to the Bhakti Yoga
Yeah.
to Krishna?
Yeah, and also ones that are unable to appreciate the concept. I mean, when you say impersonalist, there are different degrees. I mean, some people just have a romantic idea of God being everywhere, which is okay. That's their conception of God. It's not as if they've seriously contemplated the topic and become a hardcore Advaitin, a hardcore Mayavadi. But those people do exist. But for most people, it's not that they've philosophically, thoroughly explored the topic and come to a conclusion after looking at all of the options. Because they just have some innocent, uninformed idea of what God is, who God is, what, and often that takes impersonal shape, which is understandable, but it's simply because they haven't been exposed necessarily to the Krishna conception. And then there are others, for whatever reason, who may have been exposed to the Krishna conception, but vehemently reject it and embrace impersonalistic concept. That ultimately the Supreme must be formless, must be without qualities, must be without any variety. Essentially, Shunyavad, pretty much. Shankara's philosophy, we were talking the other day, the difference between Shankara and Buddha, not much, one step removed perhaps. Buddha's philosophy is Shunyavad, zero, the doctrine of zero. Shunya means nothing or zero. Shunyavad. And then Shankara's Advaitavad, which is kind of almost the same. I think Param Gurudev has mentioned it as covered Buddhism, because it's Buddhism kind of just one step removed. They say reality is nothing. It's Buddha's philosophy. Reality ultimately is nothing. Shunya means zero, nothing, nothingness, vacant. That's the meaning of the word shunya. So, there's just one nothingness with no form, no attributes. And then Shankara says that, that thing with no attributes is actually something. So it's something there. There's consciousness, but there's no form to the consciousness. Nirakara. And there's no qualities, nirguna. And there's no variety, nirvishesha. So all these things, nothing. So what is it? It's almost zero, but it's not quite. So it's Buddhism, but one step removed. And then from that historical context grows the Vaishnava doctrines, firstly with Ramanuja, saying that there is a supreme entity, but that entity does have form. So from Buddha saying, there's no supreme entity, it's nothing, to Shankara saying, well, it's not quite nothing, there is something, but that something doesn't have any form.
Consciousness.
And then saying that it does have form, the Supreme does have form. But, and then his Ramanuja's teaching is known as Vishishtadvaita. So Shankara is Advaitavad, Vishishtadvaitavad, like a qualified. Advaita means monism, oneness, qualified oneness. Vishishtadvaita. And then from there, Madhvacharya is saying, yes, there is not just a Supreme, but in the perfected, enlightened state, there is a Supreme, and there are devotees of the Supreme. So his doctrine is known as Dvaitavad. Dvaita means two. Dva, dui. So Advaita means not two, means one. Shankara, and then Vasishtadvaita, Ramanuja, and then the Dvaita of Madhva, and then Mahaprabhu's synthesis of the preceding theological conceptions in his Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, which is not Advaita and it's not Dvaita, but it's Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, simultaneous Dvaita and Advaita, simultaneous oneness, which is Advaita, and difference, which is Dvaita. So it's a synthesis and a harmonizing of the preceding doctrines. But how do we get onto that?
My question was if impersonalists can switch to...
Yeah, are there many instances of that? There is, but it's also considered an obstacle to bhakti. Because in a sense it can be a terminal destination in terms of a final destination for the soul. The Atma can merge into the impersonal energy of the Supreme. And in that sense it can miss out on the bhakti of a relationship with Bhagwan. Text 164. Etakahi utiya chalila gauda hari namaskara kare loka hare dvani kare. Oh, we're on the chamatkara, right? Stupa facente. So when everyone heard this verse of this explanation, 61 various explanations, nuances of interpretation of this verse, everyone was stupa facente. Chamatkara. Tabe sabaloka sunete agraha karila ekashashti arta prabhu vivardi kahila. When all the people gathered there, expressed the desire to hear again the 61 different meanings of the Atmaram Sloka, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again explained them. So 3 times in the Madhya Lila there's been an explanation of this verse. Definitely the verse given the most treatment, probably in the whole of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the Maharashtrian Brahmin was there as Mahaprabhu was introducing the Bhagavatam to Prakashananda Saraswati. And he says, tell him about the Atmaram verse. Tell him that. And everyone was like, yeah, we want to hear that. Tell us that one. We want to hear it. So we've all heard about this famous elaboration, this genius level elaboration of the Atmaram verse. And like, yes, one more time. Like people at a concert, encore, encore, one more time, one more song. They're enthusiastic. They wanted this chamatkara. They wanted to feel the chamatkara. So Mahaprabhu again explains the verse. Atmaramas chumunayo nirgrantap urukrame. Urukram means urukram, unusual, wondrous. Urukram, so urukrame, whose activities are wonderful. Kram. Krame means movement. Krame generally means movement. So urukram means wonderful movement, whose movements are wonderful, our activities are wonderful. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gauda Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Revealed Truth by Srila Bhaktisindha Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. We're in the section entitled Serving Under Proper Guidance. And anyone who's following along will know that We're in sync. Revealed Truth and Chaitanya Charitamrita are in sync. We're both on the topic of Mahaprabhu's instructions to Prakashananda. The power of Brahma. Mahaprabhu expressed himself in the assembly of sannyasis to Prakashananda Saraswati in this way. Then Prakashananda argued, yes, this is good, but you must hear Vedanta Darshan. So Mahaprabhu has just expressed the instructions of his guru regarding chanting the holy name and the effect of the holy name and its overpowering effect, how he is dancing in a spiritual intoxication, chanting as a result of chanting the Mahamantra. And Prakashananda says, this is okay, but still you have to you have to have Vedanta Darshan, which means reading, studying the Vedanta Sutras. Mahaprabhu, Gurudev says, Mahaprabhu humbly replied, yes, sir, you are master, you can read it, and I will hear from you. Prakashananda began to speak about the Vedanta Darshan. While he spoke, Mahaprabhu did not say anything. Finally, Prakashananda asked, can you understand anything I am saying? So Mahaprabhu employs the same tactic that he employed with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, sitting there, not saying anything, giving the silent treatment. And Sarvabhauma eventually says, are you okay? Are you comprehending anything? I'm not getting any feedback here. You haven't asked any questions. You haven't given any comment, no feedback. So Mahaprabhu is doing the same. Can you understand anything I am saying? Mahaprabhu replied, by the mercy of my Gurudev, I can understand the meanings of the sutras from the Vedanta Darshan that you are reading, but I cannot understand the commentary you are giving. Prakashananda said, what? You cannot understand my commentary? Mahaprabhu said, no, I cannot understand. That is, I think what you are saying is wrong. Prakashananda began to debate. Why? Why do you think it's wrong? Mahaprabhu said, you are saying that the final attainment given in the Vedanta Darshan is Nirakar, Nivashesh Brahma, formless, impersonal Brahma. But this is not true. I feel in my heart that Brahma has power, form and beauty. And not only do I feel this in my heart, everyone who mixes with me also feels it. So I must conclude that Brahma has a divine form and divine qualities. I also think that if Krishna is merciful to you, then you will feel it also. In this way, Mahaprabhu expressed his heart, and through that explained to Prakashananda Saraswati how Shankaracharya's interpretation of the Vedanta Darshan is wrong. After this, Prakashananda was defeated. He held his tongue and the debate was finished. Even though he was defeated by Mahaprabhu, after the debate was finished, Prakashananda thought, oh, Mahaprabhu, how humble he is. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
We can sing today. Can you sing the Hare Krishna mantra to finish the class? Yeah. Okay. Go on.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Beautiful.
Jai Sasadikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhara Ju Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Saraswati Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Vishwavaranya Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Jai Go Premanand.